Hi guys, how are you? In this video, I'm going to be talking about forget and reset password in Node and Express. I created a previous video about email account activation. I'm going to give the link of this video in the description below because I'm going to be starting with the same project that I worked on in this video. This is a simple boilerplate with a simple email account verification when user try to sign up. Okay. So now this is the main server.js file, the simple one, and this is the environment file. This is the route file, auth route, and it has the user model, DB, and controller. Okay. So for implementing forget password and reset password, we should think about the idea that how we are going to proceed with it. Okay. So first of all, let me look at this user model that I'm having. In this user model, I have name, email, and password. So for this, I'm going to have another property. So that is going to be a reset link. Okay, and I'm going to give it the data of type string, and default, I'm going to give it empty. Okay, make sure you don't give the type keyword over here. Instead, you give the data keyword. Okay, so I don't have any kind of, so it's giving me some kind of error, app crashed. Okay, waiting for file changes before starting. Okay, so I will look into it later. Maybe it's because this doesn't exist as of now in the DB. So now I want to show you the current state of the database. So this is the user model, and I have already created a new user by activating it through my email. Okay, this is the user and that I have created from Postman. I'm not going to be working on the client side application. I will be using Postman to test the APIs for checking forget password and reset password. Okay, so make sure you add this property reset link data string default. Okay, and I'm just going to close this thing. All right, so this is the controller. It has this sign up function and it has this activate account function. Sign up actually sends an email for activating an account with the link. This is how the link is being generated, and once user gets the email with the link and click on that link from the front end, and it takes to the page where it click on the button to activate your email. Okay, then we get the token that if the same user have access to that particular token, then we are going to verify it, and then we are going to activate his account. Okay, so we're going to start working on this file. So this is the route, and in this file we're going to be working on creating new routes, new API, REST APIs. That is going to be first one, forget password and reset password. Okay, so now I'm going to create a new route inside it. So let's get started. So first of all, I need to have router.post. Make sure you have a pretty much basic knowledge about Node and Express. If not, check out the videos in the description of this video. I have already created the basics of Node and Express in my previous videos. Okay, so router.post. No, it's not a post. I need to have the put type. Okay, so I'm gonna give it forgot password. Okay, and then I need to provide it a controller function. I can also write the same code over here, but it's good that we create a controller for everything. So forgot password, and I need to create this function in this controller. Let me just destruct it. So forgot password, let me copy it, and I'm going to open up auth controller, and inside it I'm going to create exports forgot password request response and request response. Okay, so now this function is going to get triggered when user actually click send an email address, pass an email address, and that email address is going to receive a link through which we can click on and then we can change the new password. Okay, so from the client side, we are going to pass the email address to this function so that this function is responsible for sending the email to a particular user with a token. Okay, so here we are going to receive the email from the body. So request.body, and now we are going to check if this particular user exists or not. We need to check the error handling as well. That's good. So if user find one, and we are going to check it with the email, not the find, but it is find one. Okay, and after that we are going to check error user. Okay, let me go up and find one. If user response, let me just grab this code and I'm going to paste it. So if there is error or user does not exist, then we are going to return 400 response. User with this email does not exist. Okay, so we have done the error handling, and right below we need to send an email to a particular account. Okay, so we are just going to copy the code from above. So I'm just going to copy this thing. I'm going to explain you what it's doing. So here I'm using the JWT package, which is the Json Web Token. You need to install it in your project. If I show you the package.json file, so these are the packages that you need to install: course, .env, express, and these things. Okay, so Json Web Token, JWT, and here I'm creating the JWT token using this name, email, password, but I'm not going to pass any kind of name, email stuff because I only have the email over here, but I have got this user. Okay, so what I can do is I can pass the ID, user.id, and token equals to jwt.sign ID, and then we can have this key. So I'm not going to use the same key. Instead, I'm going to create a new key. So reset password key, and here I can just copy this one and paste it 456. You can write anything inside it. So I'm just going to copy this thing, close it, and I'm going to paste it over here because that key was being used while we activate the email account. Okay, so it's going to expire in 20 minutes. Just keep it as it is, and we have this data, and the email is going to be sent from this email ID, and the user who is like trying to reset his password is going to receive an email. So this is the email that we have got from the body. Okay, so this is the subject and this is the HTML that is going to be the body of that email address. Please click on the link to activate your account. We need to give it. Please click on the link to reset your password. Okay, this can be the client ID. We are not using any client, but client ID can be a React app, Angular app, or simple JavaScript. Okay, so authentication, activate, we can give any URL to it. Okay, so what I can give to it, this route needs to be added on your client side application, because when we click on the email address, then it should open up the client side app for that particular route with a token appended after that. Okay, so we can have like reset password and then the token. Okay, and after that we need to actually send an email. Okay, but while we send an email, we need to fill this property that we just created, reset link. Okay, because once we reset our password, we need to check if this property is filled with a value or not. Okay, this is just the logic. You can have your own logic. So what I can do is return user dot update one, reset link. Let me just copy it from here. Reset link, and after that I'm going to pass this token. Okay, and then we can have error and success. So for error, I can just copy this if error, and then we can have 400. We can send a message over here. So reset password link error. All right. So now if there is no error, we are going to add an else condition, and then we can send an email. So I'm just going up to actually copy this code. So for sending an email address, I'm using this Mailgun, this package. Okay, check out my video email activation that I have given the link of in the description video, and I have shown you over here as well. And in here, I have shown you that how you can use the Mailgun for sending an email to any email addresses. Okay, so Mailgun, this is the domain name that will get generated when we create a new account in the Mailgun, and then we have. I'm just going to copy this thing. Okay, and I'm going to paste it over here. This is MG. All right. So I hope it should work. So this is the data, and let me just change this thing. So if we successfully sent an email, kindly follow the instructions. Follow the instructions. Okay. So I think that's pretty much it. It will work. If there is an error, we are going to pass the error. If there is an error, so yeah. Okay. There is an error, so we need to give it some kind of bracket over here. Okay, so update one, return. So maybe we need to pass. Actually, this has to be a function. This is the callback function. All right, so there is no error now. Okay, so let me just run the server again. npm run start. So it's running on 8000. So let me open up this Postman, and these are already created routes that I have created. These are the REST APIs that I'm going to call. So I'm just going to duplicate it. So forgot password. Okay, so what's the route name? Let me open up the route, and this is what I have just created. So let me just copy it, paste it, and we have this header, and in the body you see that we need to pass the email address to which we want to send an email with the token. Okay, so I'm just going to remove it, and I'm just going to pass an email address. So this is the email address I'm going to be using. ujamil899. Okay. All right. So I hope it should work. So let me just send it. And there is an error, can't post API forgot. Actually, it's not the post, it is the put request. Save it, send it. And awesome. We have got an email. That email has been sent. Kindly follow the instructions. Okay. So this message was triggered. So email has been sent. So the email should have this link. These are the details for the email, and reset password and the token that we just created over here with this reset password key. Okay. So let me just, this is where I have got this email. So this is the 0 minutes ago. So this is the link I have got. I can actually append it inside the anchor tag or the link tag, so it is clickable. Okay, so we have got this link. We can't click on it because we don't have a client side, but instead now when from the client side, user will enter an email and click on the forget reset password button. User will get an email, this email. Okay, so when from the client side, user will click on this link, there will have another route on the client side that will show us a button plus the new password text box. Okay, so what we need to do is when the user enter the new password and click on the button, we will check this token, that if this token matches the same user with the property, this property, because it is containing the same token. Okay, this is where we are storing that token update one. Okay, so let me just check if the user is containing the token or not. Okay, right. So now you can see that user is having the token, and this is how we can actually verify if this same user is trying to actually reset his password. Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to create another function that will receive the new password as well as the token, so we can actually change his password. Okay, so in the route, I'm going to copy this one and paste it, and I'm going to change its name reset password, and reset password is the controller, so I'm just going to bring it from here. It is not existing yet, I'm going to create it. Okay, so just copy these two lines, and below I'm going to paste it, just end it, and I'm going to change its name reset password. Okay, no error in the terminal now, so awaiting file changes. So sometimes we actually need to restart the server. Okay, reset password, just copy it and paste it. So there was a spelling mistake, reset password. Okay, so just make sure you spell it right. All right, so our DB connection has been established. Now I'm going to fill this function with some code. So in this function, I'm going to receive a new password as well as a token, because if I show you, if we click on this link, this whole link will be added in the browser URL over here. Okay, so from the client side, we can grab this token and we can pass it to that function, to that REST API that I'm just going to create. But in this video, I'm going to be using Postman. Okay, so you will get the idea that how we can do it in the Node and Express. Okay, so now I'm going to accept the reset link. So const reset link and new password, and it will be get from the request.body. Okay, and now we will check if reset link exists, then we are going to proceed further. Otherwise, we can actually send an error that there is some kind of mistake, that client side haven't sent any kind of token or reset from the URL that we sent it through an email. Okay, so I'm just going to copy this thing and I'm going to paste it. So I'm not going to use if condition actually, but I'm going to send the 401 response, and what should be the error over here? Let's say authentication error. Okay, now let's proceed with this if condition. All right, so here we are going to verify that if this thing, we are going to decode this token, because we converted this token from an ID, and if we decode this token, we can get back this ID of the user. Okay, we can pass any number of properties to this JWT to convert it into the token. We just pass the ID, we can pass email, password, anything, okay? So we just passed the ID. So now I can actually convert, verify, reset link, process.env.reset password key. This is what we used above. And then we have got this callback function. So decoded data. Okay. So now if we got an error, so if there is an error, no, we don't need it. So if there is an error, we are going to return some kind of error over here. So let me just pass the status first. So 401.json. And for the error message, I can pass incorrect token, or it is expired. Okay. So above you saw that we added the 20 minutes. So if we get an email with the same link and it passed through the 20 minutes, then if we click on that particular link and send it to the reset password with the new password, then it's going to throw us an error that this link or token has already been expired. Try to actually resend an email by actually entering your email address. Okay. So if there is an error, we are going to return some kind of error. And if there is no error, then we are going to actually find the user. Okay. So user dot find one, and I'm going to give it the property name, which is the reset link. Okay. We can pass it any property, name, email, or the password. I'm going to pass the reset link, but this reset link I'm getting from the client side, from the body. Okay. So if this reset link that we have sent from the client side matches the recent link value in the database of that user, it means that we have found the user, that which user we should allow who can change his password, who can reset his password. Okay, so you got the idea, because the token that we sent through an email should match this token, and this is how we are going to check which user should needs to reset his password. Okay, so reset password, error, user, and we have got the user, that which user needs to reset his password. So let me just bring up this thing. We need to check every error. Okay, if there's an error and no user with this email ID, something went wrong. No, user actually exists, but the user with the same token does not exist, with the same reset link. User with this token does not exist. Okay, so if there is no error, then we can actually update his password with the new password. Okay, so what we can do is we can actually create an object. So obj, and we have the password field in the user, which we can pass the new password. Okay, and why is it showing an error? Expected. Okay, there's a const spelling mistake, and after that I'm going to actually change the properties that is existing within this object. Okay, so what I can do is I can use the user property equals to let me install the Lodash library. Okay, npm I -- save Lodash, and let me just import it over here. Lodash actually provide us a lot of things. So equals to we are going to require it. So Lodash, a lot of things to manipulate strings, manipulate arrays, and a lot of things. Let me run the server to keep checking if there is an error or not, or there is an error because obviously we are using it. So underscore dot, I can use extends property. Extends property means it's going to update the object in the database when we pass any kind of properties to it. Okay, so extend, and we have this particular object, and we need to pass an object that which property need to be updated in this particular user. Okay, so we have this obj. Okay, so new password is going to be updated within this user. Okay, and after that we are just going to save it in the database. So user.save error result. Okay, so we need to check if there is an error, then we need to proceed further. What kind of code I need to copy? So let me just copy it and paste it over here. So if there is an error, we are going to return at that reset password error. Okay, and if there is no error, we are going to return a message. So let me just remove it. Okay, so we need to pass the status 200.json with a message that your password has been changed. Okay, so I think that would work. Okay, so let me just restart the server. Okay, why is it showing me error? Address already in use 8,000. Okay, I don't want this thing to happen. Let me just make it 9,000. Okay, so npm run start. So it is working on the 9,000. Let me just remove it. So let me go back, and I'm going to create a new route. So I'm just going to duplicate it, and I'm going to change its name to reset password. Okay, and let me just go and edit this collection variables, and we have changed over address. Okay, so localhost 9,000, we are storing it in the URL, and this is what we are using over here within the double curly braces. Okay, so API, it is the reset password. Headers should be like this, body, and rather than passing an email address, we need to pass the new password. Make sure you match the same name that we are using over here, so new pass, and then we have to pass the reset link. So new password. Okay, let me just check what was the old password. It was hello123, and here I'm going to change it ABCD12345 6. Okay, and then we need to pass it a reset link, should be in double quotes. Okay, and here we need to pass the token that we got it from the email. Okay, so we are testing it from the postman, but in the real application we need to pass this data from the client side, from front end application, that we can receive it from the URL when we click on this particular link. So what I can do is I need to just copy this thing, assuming that it is not expired. Okay, because the expired time was the 20 minutes. So I assume there we haven't passed the 20 minutes as of now. So let me just change the token to see if there is an error occur or not. Okay, so let me just send it. Incorrect token, or it is expired. So obviously it is an incorrect token. Okay, so let me just get back the actual real token, and let me just send it. Okay, send. So we have got the message that your password has been changed. Okay, and let me go to the database and refresh it. Click on the user and see if our password has been changed or not. So here you can see that the password ABCD12345 has been changed. Okay, awesome. But there is a problem in it that we need to empty this reset link once the user change his password. If user wants to change his password for the second time or third time, he needs to regenerate the password by sending an email that I want to change an email address again. So this property will be updated again. So while we are resetting our password, after we have got an email address, we need to make that property empty. Okay. So what we can do is, along with this thing, reset link empty. Okay. So extend will actually make it more. Okay. So currently, if I change the password and send it again, it's going to change the password again and again and again because this token exists in the database. Okay. So when this token won't exist in the database, this token won't be able to use for changing or resetting his password. Okay. So now what I can do is, let me just change the password ABCD12, send it. Your password has been changed. Let me go back, refresh, click on the user. So ABCD12 and reset link value has been changed to the empty default. And now if I send this thing again, this token does not exist in the database for the user because we have changed it. Okay, in order to rechange his password, we need to send an email again, and user need to call this API again by sending an email address from the client side. Okay, so if I hit this send button, this error is going to be returned because no, this should be returned because user with this token does not exist. Okay, so let me just click on send. The user with this token does not exist, so this error has been generated because we can't reset the password for the user. Okay, so I have been using the Postman for actually testing my REST APIs for getting password and resetting the password. So that was pretty much it, and I'll be making more such videos for these technical stuff using Node and Express as well as the other frameworks or libraries for the Node. Because I'm a JavaScript developer, I'll be creating the videos for the front end as well for React and Angular. So if you like my video, make sure you like this video and don't forget to subscribe my channel and also click on the bell icon so you get the notification for the videos. And also give the comment below that what do you think if this idea is good. We can have multiple ideas while if we want to change our password. Okay. So thank you so much for watching. Stay tuned.